Hello guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another of my YouTube videos. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys the counter tier list. Now, before I actually start this video, if you guys go into the comments and say blah 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 is a counter, blah 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 is a counter, I honestly don't know what to say. You guys just need to enjoy the video for once. Also, be sure to leave a like on the video. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people that dislike it simply because I don't agree with their opinion. So be sure to leave a like and support the video. Also, be sure to subscribe. It's completely free and it helps support the channel a ton. I am also hosting a Shindo Life tournament here soon, so be sure to join the Discord if you want to join that. Anyways, guys, let's get right into the video. All right, so the one we're actually going to be starting out with Forged. Now, Forged is kind of like Saberu's counter, as you guys will see later in the video. Forged's counter is actually, it's pretty good for being a counter. However, compared to other counters, it may not be the best. But as a counter itself, it is pretty good. However, when it comes to the Forged counter, it's really hard to follow up using a combo after you use the counter. Like, the counter is mainly just for like messing with people, messing with their tempo of their combo and stuff like that. It's not really meant for setting up combos yourself, because when you use the ability, it actually sends them to the Shadow Realm, and you can't actually follow up with a combo after that because they're literally not on your screen. You can't do anything about it. However, for being a combo counter and just being a counter itself, it's going to be in the good tier simply because it's just an overall pretty good counter for what it does. All right, so the next one's actually going to be Perfect Block. Now, Perfect Block is what you get when you hold right mouse button, you aim at someone directly, and then they M1 you. It actually stuns them and teleports you behind them, and it basically sets you up for getting free M1s on someone. And this is actually going to be the top of good, simply because with a Perfect Block, it does not require anything besides Chi. It does take Chi when you use a Perfect Block, but other than that, it's just basically free to do if they're using M1s on you and they're nearby to you. However, most of the time, you're actually not going to actually get Perfect Block off. But it's just overall a pretty good thing to use in a duel in general, and it's a pretty good counter. All right, so the next one's going to be Raion. Now, Raion's actually going to be the bottom of good. It does work as a counter just as Forged does. But basically what Raion does is just basically a full damage move. It doesn't stun. It doesn't send them to the Shadow Realm. It doesn't mess with their combo that much. It's just a really good instant cast counter that you guys can use if you have Raion equipped. But other than those things, it's not very good for setting up combos yourself and things like that, because it doesn't stun them or anything. It just does a lot of damage. It's probably one of the most high damage dealing counters, but if you're using a counter, you're not using a counter to deal damage. You're using a counter to counter combos, and that's why it's actually going to be the bottom of good. Now, the next one's actually going to be Rengoku's counter. Now, Rengoku's counter is the fourth mode of it. It's basically like Renshiki's, but it's only for a certain amount of time, and it's a bubble around you. But just for what it is, I'm actually going to say that the Rengoku's counter move is actually going to be in the really good tier. Now, the reason why it's actually going to be in the really good tier is because it requires no Chi to use. You could just instantly cast it. It is an instant cast as well, and it will absorb things and give you Chi back for using them. Now, I know a lot of people when they use Rengoku, they actually don't use any of the other modes besides the fifth one, but Rengoku is probably one of the most broke bloodlines in the game if you actually know how to use it. And this is part of knowing how to use Rengoku, is knowing when to switch modes and use those abilities. Rengoku is without a doubt the most versatile bloodline in the game, and this counter is going to be really good compared to counters in general. And it works very well as a counter itself. It can counter combos. So the next one's actually going to be Renshiki's. Now, I'm actually going to put Renshiki's in broken. I think the one redeeming factor of Renshiki is actually going to be the counter of it. The counter is called Absorption. If you hold the button down, it can go for 5 seconds. That is the longest counter in the game. And it also boosts your speed insanely fast. So it's just, I feel like Renshiki's counter is the only redeeming factor of Renshiki itself. Because if you guys use Renshiki's counter, you will literally counter basically any combo in the entire game, while also being able to run away or even set up your own combo, because they will be wasting all of their abilities on you, and they won't know when you stop pressing the button. It's basically just an insanely good counter. It will absolutely stomp on people that do not know how to deal with it at all, and it will also stomp on people that know what it is too, because they don't know when you're going to stop doing it and set up your own abilities, because you can instantly stop doing it and set up your combo, and then what are they going to do? Like, hold down right mouse button and block? Like, that's basically the only thing they could do. Right, so the next one's actually going to be Saberu. I think Saberu, since it's basically the same as Forged, it's actually going to be below Forged. The reason why it's below Forged is because the counter doesn't actually trigger on certain abilities. I think it's a bug or something. But on certain abilities, the Saberu counter does not actually trigger. And it basically is just it's like a 0.2-second auto dodge when it doesn't trigger. I think it's a bug, but because it's bugged, it's actually going to be below Forged Akuma, but they're practically the same exact thing, and the same things that applied to Forged Akuma apply to Saberu. Alright, so the next one's actually going to be Satori. Now, I think Satori is actually going to be at the top of really good. Now, come on. The reason why it's actually going to be at the top of really good is because I don't think it's broken. I don't think it's a broken counter in the game, but being able to set your own combo up when they actually use their combo, you could instantly use Satori and it will stun them, and then you could immediately start using your counter, and there's nothing they could do about it. It's just a really, really good counter to use, especially for countering people that use combos, because you could have your own combo equipped and just use Satori counter, and then boom, they're dead, you know what I mean? Because even if they use abilities on you, there's nothing they could do by the time your Satori counter hits them. It's instant too. It's just insanely good. Now, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Sengoku's counter is actually the exact same as Satori's. It just does more damage. It does the same exact effect as Satori's, but pretty much how it goes, I'm going to put it below simply because it puts like this giant meteor on your screen that crashes down onto them, and that could blind your vision. And I think vision's very important, especially for setting up your own combos and all that stuff. I think the vision is very, very, very important for setting up combos, and that's why Sengoku is actually inferior to Satori, even though they're practically the same exact thing. So the next one's actually going to be Eternal. I think Eternal is actually going to be the absolute top of really good. Now, not really good, of good. Now, the reason why it's actually going to be the top of good and not going to be really good or broken is because it requires hand signs to use, and it also has a 45-second cooldown. It's such a long cooldown. Like, you're not even going to be able to use the counter by the time your fight's over. One person will be dead by then, most likely. The Eternal counter's cooldown is so long, you can only use it once a fight. However, it can win you a duel entirely if you guys time it right and use it right. But simply because of the cooldown and the hand signs being required, it's going to be good because as a counter, it is very good for healing you. And it also does a lot of damage to your opponent depending on what they use. But you have to time it at the absolute perfect time, or it's just going to be an absolutely useless counter in your build. Anyways, guys, that's actually going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the comment below if you want more. And be sure to join the Discord. Link is in the bio. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.